Hey up guys, it's Rory from Enlighten the Shadows here, and we are a men's mental health group that is out there to support and make a difference. Our heart in Enlighten the Shadows is to create media, mindfulness and mentoring in a way we can really impact men's lives so that we can see them transform and utterly be supported and poured out love upon their lives. So it's, even if men are just struggling with a bit of stress and anxiety, or across the spectrum, all the way to if they feel like they just want to end their life or be suicidal. So if that's you, if you feel like you have no reason to live anymore, or you just need a little bit of support, if you need some guidance about how to better your life, some of your mindsets and your strategies, we'll be honoured to have you on the journey with us. And you'll just say, welcome to the brotherhood. We don't claim to have all the answers, but we are just here for you, extending that olive branch to see you flourish in your life. And we just say, have a go, give it a go. You never know what could happen. Have a great day. Cheers, guys. Hey up everyone, welcome to Enlighten the Shadows. Today is episode 46. Today we have the man, the myth, the legend, Jamie Beaton. Some of you may not know him, but I do, and thankfully I know him on a personal level. I got to know him, guys, last summer, and I just had such an amazing experience. Well out of my comfort zone, well into horizons new, and things that I hope will equip you and in a good way challenge you today, because I feel like in life we can just go through the motions, we can just coast through and not really open our mind up to things, guys. So today is a bit of a left field episode, and I really just want you to strap in, get rid of distractions, get yourself in a quiet room, and have an open mind, because today's going to be really good for you. I'm excited to have Jamie on the show today, and we'll just get right into it. So Jay, welcome to Enlighten the Shadows, brother.
Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. I've had a busy week. We scheduled this for earlier this week. I've had the most randomest week where I've gone 3 tiers applying for a higher promotion, like not just one above me, but 3. And then within 36 hours, I had to produce for the interview. So from that interview to this one, I'm very proud of myself in a weird way. I don't usually like saying words like that, but the fact that I pushed myself out of a massive comfort zone, mate, and like I just went knocking on a door that actually most people never would have done. So yeah, I did well. I didn't get the job, but I did very well. Got some good feedback. So buzzing, mate. It's been a good week. What about you, mate?
Wow, man. Yeah, again, a bit like you, man. Just like trying to push the envelope, trying to go a little bit further. So I've had a really fantastic year so far. Just like my brain has been firing in terms of like not just the cooking side, also sort of how I can help people and serve people. And I think that just comes from having 2 weeks off at Christmas, doing very little, and it just gives our brains that space to go away from that busyness to like, what's in our brain, what can we connect with, what's the message we're meant to be receiving. And yeah, I'm just some really exciting plans this year, man. And
That's class.
yeah, I the thing is, one of the things I say is never say never.
Come on.
And
Right.
we'll probably touch on this during the interview, but I've been a chef a few times in my life. It's an extremely hard industry to work in because of the hours, just
The chafing, bit of chafing down there.
I didn't suffer much from that. I don't know why. But yeah, it's a really tough industry. And like for me, I wanted to I found my voice in terms of making healthy, tasty recipes, but being able to allow people to cook them in their own home environment. And then I could say, I'm never going to cook again, but I have this passion inside me that's burning to cook for people. And yeah, I'm just looking at starting off a little like local supper club, just cooking for people, really showing off like my creativity. And yeah, I put a little message out to some people and they lapped up. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, back to cooking for people.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things I wanted to just spring out of what you said. First one is when I first met you, and we'll unpack that. I really noticed like a servant spirit coming out of you, like massive. Like it's such a refreshing thing to see. Like not many people are able to do it in such a way you did it. Like you seem to just glide through it throughout the 3-day retreat, and I was like, man, this guy loves serving. It's such a beautiful thing to see, because sometimes when we serve, it can become a chore or it can tire us and burden us. And actually, we might be just struggling generally in here and in here, and you just coasted for it, mate. It was brilliant. And when you said just now about your cooking, I might have had a cheeky idea. You've probably already thought about this, but where you live, I think you're in Portsmouth, aren't you?
Yeah, just outside of Portsmouth.
Yeah, like maybe it's worth maybe getting touch with some local schools and like equipping the next generation with like all your cooking skills. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be up for something like that, definitely.
you'd be good at that. I can imagine. You're dead calm as well. Like I'm a bit like bolshy and like outgoing, but you're just like you've got a really like calm and assurance spirit. I think that children need that, definitely, especially when it's cooking, because they're like, I've done cooking class with kids in primary school now. My old job, mate, it's carnage. It is carnage.
I'm just not sure how they would take to the whole no meat stuff. That might just sort of confuse them.
It could do, but children are more malleable. I think the older people, like I don't know, 25 up,
like us,
they're not as open-minded. Kids, they're so resilient, and you can teach them many things, and they learn and grow so quickly. It's scary how quickly they can grow. But yeah, man, you should go for that. It'd be good.
All right, mate. I'll see what I can get planned.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm really blessed. I've got a brand new chair. It's not a very good view of it. It's got like a pine green color to it. My gosh, brother, I feel like I'm on a throne. It's upright. It's comfy. There's no like slouching. It's like, yeah, it's the one. So
Nice.
yeah, Enlighten the Shadows. Hard work, mate. Hard work on my personal job. Get good things if you work hard in life. But yeah, mate. For our viewers, like, just take us on a little journey, please. We'll bring up on the screen as you're talking some pictures what you used to look like, because I think you had a bit of back and forth, if I'm led to believe, especially with your body image and weight. And I just thought, wow, like I think people can relate to what you've been through more than just like a flashbang moment and then you stay like healthy-ish for the rest of your life. Just take us through what life was like. So I remember walking on that cove and that bit where we took the walk right near the edge, that the guy did like that 60-foot somersault off the cliff.
Yeah.
We're gonna fetch his dead body out of the water. Like, and I remember you walking and talking about your journey. It was just class, yeah. So please share with your listeners today.
All right, man. Will do. I'll try and make it as quick as possible, but touch on the important points. But
it's not Joe Rogan, mate. It won't be 3 hours. It'll be all right.
All right. Okay. Now this is much better than Joe Rogan. So, just like in a nutshell, really, I didn't have a fantastic childhood. Nothing to do with like my parents or family, anything like that. It was just more like a school. I didn't fit, didn't like it. I was bullied at school, and it just wasn't a pleasant experience. And like from quite early on, I suppose you're talking about your early teens, I would come home from school, and the way I would comfort myself would be through food. And I still remember it now. I'd come home, I'd make a jacket potato and cheese and sit in front of the TV and I watch the children's programs. And I think that's been a real thing in my life. I realized this, I was going to say last year, but the years are flying by now. I think sort of not last year, the previous summer. And I realized how that behavior stuck with me, that whenever I felt scared, vulnerable, fearful, I would move towards food to comfort me. Right. It was like this comfort blanket. Because we probably all have these comfort blankets, but they come in different forms. Some people have actually blankets. But for me, it was food. And looking back, I see now that whenever things got challenging in my life, I would go back to that food, that comfort food. And I'm not talking about some apples and fruit and stuff like that. It's always going to be the food that's not so good for you.
Yeah.
Often that's because it's like your fight and flight response. You crave fat and sugar in terms of surviving, because going back thousands of years, that was in limited supply. So when you could get it, you really went for it.
Yeah, man.
And our bodies can't tell that, oh, we just had a bad day at work or a bad day at school. Our bodies just go, oh, we've received this message that our life isn't under threat. So
yeah,
let's hit that cheese.
Yeah. Were you aware of, just quickly, I know we're going to go through it more, but like, were you aware at a young age that you were doing it, but you just kind of blocked out, or were you like just going through the motions and then it was in a later time that you had the revelation?
It was only a year and a half I actually realized that pattern, and I went through that pattern numerous times in my life. And when we met last year, you're aware something that happened with me.
Yeah.
And from a point of much more awareness, that same pattern occurred.
Right.
So, but I was able to pull myself out of that. Eventually, I went through that stage of feeling sorry for myself and pity until I was like, right, no more, get on with it. Stop being silly. You know why you're doing this now.
What did you do to do that though? Because like, there's a lot of people that are stuck in the rut. They're in that pit and they can't get out. Like, were you quite aggressive with your mindset? Were you like, what were you like empathetic, or because some people are stuck, aren't they? And they don't know.
I think it's because I knew why I was doing it. When you have the awareness of why you're doing it,
yeah,
it's like the food is the medication. The medication doesn't solve the issue. It covers it. You need to go to what caused you to need that medication.
So good.
So
can we just end now? Like, what, like 10 minutes in, just like sit, bang, mic drop.
So yeah, and I ended up like going in deep, like doing some work. I was in a place that I really struggled. I wouldn't say I was depressed, and I had been clinically depressed when I was 25 actually. On my 25th birthday, I had like a snap moment, and so I wasn't like that, but I knew I wasn't in a good place.
Yeah.
And this year's, like I said, it's been really good, and I felt like I walked through the latter part of last year, but what I still managed to achieve was like quite remarkable in hindsight. But I had that awareness, so it's like I put in the work, I put in the stuff that I put in my book, and it was really interesting to observe my thoughts, because what I knew was good for me, if I put it down, it's like you've got Enlighten the shadows. So we're going to go into the shadow aspects. So in terms of
this is what I like to hear.
The theory on that Carl Jung, and you've got the dark and the golden shadow. So the golden shadow is who you are, who you want to be, who you are inside, who you really want to express. And then the dark shadow is what you're ashamed of, what holds you back, what puts you in that state of fear. And it was, looking back now, I just think it's fascinating because I've got that hindsight. But what happened was, last year I was letting my golden shadow go. It's like, yeah, putting myself out there, my recipes, my book. And then this one bit of trauma happens. And my dark shadow goes, grabs me, pulls me, and says, none of this showing off now, none of showing that golden light. We need to protect you. Wow. You're under threat.
Yeah.
And it's the mechanism within me that is doing that as it did from childhood. It's there to protect. It's to protect me, essentially. So it would say, oh, no, don't meditate today. You're too busy. I wasn't too busy. I was doing nothing.
Your mind's a powerful thing, isn't it? You're just like.
So it was like, yeah, don't meditate, don't yoga, don't journal. And it's like all these things that I knew were good for me and would help. It just like held me in deep. And it was like, you can't say it was bad because it's still part of you. But it's just, once I had that real awareness, and I was reading a book by a guy called Charlie Morley, and he's done a great book on shadow work. And I was reading that, and I was just going through my dark shadow and my golden shadow, and accepting the darkness, or my perceived darkness, because what we perceive as to be our own darkness, probably no one even cares about. It's all how we view ourselves.
Oh, mate, I'm getting like goosebumps, bro. This is like, I'm tearing up. This is what I'm about, mate. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff I like to really get to the root, unpack things. And you are, mate. Wow, this is good. This is good. I don't care if we've lost people already. I'm locked in. This is class. Wow.
And yeah, I mean, and just from that, I think for me, I had this period where I said to my wife, I remember that particular moment. I was in my kitchen, I cried, and I said to my wife, I said, I don't know what's wrong. It's like, I just don't know what's wrong. It's like I'm in this rut and I don't know how to get out of it. By the way, I did know how to get out of it. I just wasn't doing the work. But I was like, I felt so stuck. And then, what's the saying, that when a teacher when the student needs the teacher arrives. And I said about Charlie Morley in this book, and I've been following Charlie for a few months, and I've been doing his lucid dreaming course, and he was having a retreat come up about shadow work. And I thought, oh, maybe that book on shadows will help me. So I downloaded the book, I absorbed it really quickly, and it just made such a difference to me, just recognizing the perceived bad parts and the perceived good parts of me. And then I managed to go back to my routines properly, and then start building back up to where I am.
So good.
Where I am back today. So
would you say it's acceptance then of the shadow, like what you mentioned? Is it like, because I guess some people would want to like fight it and wage war, but is it actually a way of embracing that, acknowledging actually that's part of who I am, and just kind of like
it is that acceptance. It's the acceptance that when I am down, I'm going to go towards sugar. The things that happened in my life because of that behavior that I can't change because it's been done, that people don't know about, and people don't know about it because I've buried it. But I need to accept it because I buried it in myself. But I need to accept that behavior that I did. And when you look at it, it's like, actually, that's pretty insignificant. Like I said, no one cares, really. I'm still not willing to tell everyone, but I would feel now in the place that I could tell like a few key friends, like, oh, this is what I did, and that's what I did, and I go, that's probably normal. But we just see it as so bad on ourselves. So now I'm actually grateful that I went through that journey, because I feel so much better for it. And I think it's probably not going to be the last time it happens, but each time you do it, you have more awareness. And then the more awareness you have, the more change you can make.
Wow. Because you can equip yourself with the tools, can't you? That's when you start having those strategies in place. Man, why do you think blokes do this? Like, why do we ignore this shadow that you're alluding to, and those early adverse childhood experiences or traumas, like that we have locked away? What do you think it is that we just we just manage to keep it in for so long, and then it can catch up with us, sadly, and it can manifest, can't it, in like behaviors or addictions or things like that that can be quite damaging. And then we just feel stuck. What is it that makes men do that?
I think it's because we don't talk about it. So if we don't even sort of acknowledge it within ourselves. So if we can't acknowledge it within ourselves, we're definitely not going to speak about it. Because I think there's this fear of being judged. And this, because we're judging ourselves from the very first moment. And maybe with men, that is maybe how we've been raised, or the old role models where you don't share emotions, you hold them, you bottle them up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just allow baggage to weigh you down. And I think talking, sharing, understanding your own self is really, really important.
Yeah. So fear, false evidence appearing real. What was your fear then? So obviously, you know, you've had bravely, I want to say big respect, opening up today on camera about that for our viewers. Like, you had a bit of bullying going on. So you went to sugar, you went to like carb loading. What were you fearful of? Do you reckon it was the bullies, or do you reckon it was, I don't know, it's a really strange one.
Okay, I'm going to pull you to a picture in my book of me in front of a mirror.
Is it your lipstick, or is it the wife's?
It's mine at weekends. No, it's my wife's. And basically it was, I had programmed in myself, or events in my life had created this program within my brain that says, I am not lovable.
Yeah.
I am not enough. And that carried on for years, man, years. So I'm 40 now, and that program was probably running until I was about 37.
From what age?
A young age, man. Young age, I would say. Yeah, because of, like, whether it be failed relationships, bullying, things like that, that's all going to give you a message, and the way you receive that is like, oh, I'm not lovable. You don't look at where you are receiving love, because I can't say that I wasn't loved by my family as a child, but you look for where the negatives are.
Yeah.
And then that starts forming your program.
Wow.
And I'm going to touch on that as well, about how you can change that mindset to rewire your brain. So instead of keep looking for that negativity, you look for the positivity, because our brains are actually, I was going to say hardwired, but hardwired mean that they can't change, but our brains are wired to see the negatives, to see the threats, because we needed to thousands of years ago. We needed to be careful of what was out there in the dark. Well, what's out there in the dark, we don't have to worry. There's lights everywhere, and our own fears are more based on what's happening on our computers and our phones. So we just need to change that mindset. We live in the safest time humanity has ever lived.
100%.
Yeah, our brains are trapped in fear. So I will be given some tools on how we can switch that mindset.
Bro, you'll have to come on every week. Absolutely just terrorizing it. Coming with a prep word, everything. Because usually, and this is for the viewers as well to know, like, usually what I do to comfort the viewers is I get like a rough template of questions. Some people are like, yeah, of course, but what do you want to ask? What are you going to say? What we're going to talk about? To give them like a really rough template just to settle them. Some of them are like, oh, I've not done this before. It's like, it's all right, just having a chat like me and you are, brother. And yeah, you didn't ask for a template. And I was like, ooh. And I know you're a very detailed guy. and you're very, yeah. When I noticed that about you, very prepared. So I was like, oh, I wonder if he comes in. Here we are. We've got some tools to take home, and I love it because then I'm gonna learn. Like when you talked about all this shadow stuff, like this is really deep stuff, and it's taking people on a journey if they're willing to be open about it. And this is why I started Enlighten, like from Plato, where he talked about the depiction of we're all striving for the light out of the cave, and we're stuck in this cave, and in fact we want the light, but we're being distracted by the establishment that's in place, and it has them with these handheld puppeteers that put a shadow on the wall, and then it distracts us by the shadow, and so we're stuck in the shadow itself. And that's what helped me come up with a name slightly, because it's about discovering that side to life and enlightening ourselves too. Like it's so important. And that's when we met on that retreat, like when we went to Cornwall. Thankfully for Anthony Mullally, we'll put that on the screen right now, that episode we have with Mo. It was just fantastic, like seeing men that didn't have an alter ego or agenda. It was like we were all quite uniquely different, but we're all united because we actually were acknowledging, I guess, as what you say, in the shadow in our life, and we just want to grow. And we connected beautifully. Like, man, we drew tears, everything. It was mad, wasn't it?
It was good. Mad. It was mad. Yeah, it was a beautiful and tough time. But yeah, we definitely connected, and yeah, I really appreciate your support on the retreat, man. That's that's that sort of trauma hit me then.
Right.
Yeah, you really helped, man. So, and it was a pleasure to have met you, and to hear about the fantastic work that you're doing. And
thank you, Ray.
Yeah, like you say about that environment for people to share and to talk, it's really important for men to be able to do that. And the role you're playing is like so important.
That's what we want to do, man. And we're blessed to have you on today, because like you've got stuff to bring to the table, and that's why like I have such diverse episodes, because this is what we've got to do. Like some episodes just won't resonate with some, and this one hopefully will with other blokes, where they're like, oh yeah, I can relate to what he's saying. Like there's something going on there, I need to address it. And so yeah, we'll put on the screen as well Jay's Instagram handle, and also, well, I'll let you. This is about you, brother. What about your Facebook page? Because you've mentioned that to me. What's that about?
So that's honestly, most of the content just goes from Instagram to my Facebook page. So I believe it's Jamie Beets Recipes. I'm starting to get more involved in Facebook and different groups and stuff like that. I suppose I had a negative attachment with Facebook, so I'm sort of rebuilding that. So yeah, I've got my Instagram, I've got my Facebook account, I've got my website, which is jamiebeets, BEETS.com. And on there, I do blog posts, I do recipes, because a lot of my stuff is actually about food and cooking and making healthy, nutritious food taste amazing and taste not healthy, because people don't want to eat a boring salad. You want to eat something that's exciting. And
come on now,
you got to experience that.
I did, mate.
You were just eating healthy food all day.
Are we allowed to use the V word?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Healthy, plant-based. And it's that is where I put my love and my creativity. And I know the whole vegan thing can seem quite scary to a lot of people, but it's, can I talk about how I came into this vegan world by accident?
Come on, let's have it. And then what we're gonna do for the viewers, we're gonna get the book up, and we'll take, it'll be like story time in the school. And you get all these all these nice little pictures. Oh, there's your picture that you mentioned. Yeah. We've already put that on the screen though. But like, in fact, let's go to the dessert section because they're never going to believe. Oh, we got. Is that the hummus? We're still.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that stunner, mate. They don't know yet. They don't understand, and it's not bit of smoothie. They don't understand, and I think no. Let's talk about it before we go into your actual what you want to share, because I think people got to understand that there'll be the negative connotation associated. That's why I was like, oh, do we say the V word? Like, it's an open-mindedness at the end of the day, and a lot of it I put this is from my perspective and my experiences. I was just lazy. I was full of excuses. I was closed-minded and I was lazy. I was like, look, if it isn't got meat, and if I'm struggling with a lack of dairy as well, you go lacking that taste. But you have these things in this book. I've tasted first-hand experience. Freaking unbelievable. Like I didn't think for 1 second, oh frick, I just want some meat or some sugar. Like I didn't think for 1 second I was in lack. So I just got rocked. I was like, wow, I came out from that retreat like walking barefooted in the summer. Because that did something in me as well, where I was like, I literally got there going, why is everyone walking barefooted? It's weird. But I didn't say anything. I just observed it and thought, well, that's different. And I thought, I'm going to do it, embrace it. And then with the food, I came out looking for vegan restaurants and takeaways in Nottingham. Change. So, yeah, what is it? Why do people not want to try a vegan meal, let's say? Not so go vegan, but try a vegan meal.
I think it is this attachment to we need meat. I was going to say we need sugar. That's carbs, and we can get carbs. There's no issue from that. There's loads of those in fruits and vegetables and in a healthy format. But I think especially for men, because so much of our identity is like, what do young men do? They go out with their mates to a pub, to a club, then you grab a kebab. So there's two things there that I think create this identity around what a man should be.
You're going to destroy a doner kebab, aren't you? You're going to destroy it right now for the men.
Have you not seen my Instagram recently of my vegan doner kebab?
I haven't. No.
You need to put the image up so people can see what a vegan doner kebab looks like. So yeah, and it's healthy. But yeah, we start getting this attachment when we're sort of late teens and our 20s that we should be able to drink, and we should be able to drink loads, and then we should consume lots of meat. And man, that attachment to those behaviors and that imagery was so part of me until recently. And I got a American fancy big barbecue to like smoke meats, like 12-hour barbecue brisket, pork shoulder, all that sort of stuff. For my own wedding party, I cooked like a lot of the food on the barbecue. So that was me. That was my identity. I am barbecue king. I am this, all about the meat. And then alcohol is the same. Like if you ask me what my habits were, or my hobbies, not habits, my hobbies were 4 or 5 years ago, I would say it's eating meat and drinking beer. That's my hobbies.
Lots of sugar in beer as well, actually.
Yeah. And it's a good time for us to talk, because where it really started changing was 3 years ago. And come the New Year's resolutions, and I would drink probably on the Friday night and a Saturday night, me and my wife, I'd get a load of beers in, different craft beers, and I'd passed 2,000 different beers on this app. I'd gone past that. I was like a proper beer nerd. Connoisseur. So yeah, Friday, Saturday night, that was it. And looking towards the new year, so I think that was, it was 2019. I wanted to be healthier. So when me and my wife got married, you had that reason. Oh, we're getting married. There's going to be photos. So suddenly you've got this reason to lose weight. So you can cut down on stuff, you know that. And my wife, what she wanted to do was go for dry January. That sounded horrendous to me. Because I come home from work on a Friday, drink. Saturday, drink. I was like, no, I'm not happy about this. But what I want to do is I want to reduce the amount of meat I'm eating. And my wife was like, no, meat, we need to eat meat. You need to eat meat for this and that. So it was brilliant. So we both didn't want to do each other's, so we both did. And I moved to a more vegetarian diet, because one of the reasons I did it was, one, I wanted to eat less meat, but I wanted to eat more vegetables. But I ended up not really eating that many more vegetables. Meat just got replaced by dairy. Yeah. So I didn't actually feel any better for it. And this was all about health. I mean, that was the reasons why I was doing it. But I was really surprised, actually, how I was able to enjoy dry January, if you like, because I just changed what I still had that anchor. So I would still say, I'll come home on a Friday from work, and on the Saturday, I still had this anchor of I wanted to drink something. But I made it a instead of it being a beer, I would make it like a mocktail or something like that. So I was still drinking something, but there was no alcohol in it. And get some kombucha, which is like fermented tea. So
right.
I started doing that. I was like, actually, I really enjoyed dry January. I'm not going to stop. I'm gonna just feel my way into February and, you know, see what happens.
I like that. Feel my way into February.
Yeah.
I like that. It's got a ring to it.
And then my second favorite time of the year started. So my favorite time of the year, obviously, is Christmas. My second favorite time of the year is the Six Nations. Ooh. And for watching the Six Nations, I'd always be drinking lots of beer. I mean, I'd be drinking like 3 to 4 beers per game, just like watching them, getting the beers in, having them. I was like, right, okay, this is going to be a challenge. So, but I kept that same thing. Still had the anchor. Okay, rugby, drink. But I just replaced that drink with a soft drink. February, still no alcohol. Go through to March, still no alcohol. Still really enjoying it. So it comes to the last game. Ireland versus England in Ireland. If England win, they win the Six Nations. I still haven't had any drink of alcohol this year. And I think, okay, England are going to lose this. But if they win, I'm going to celebrate with a beer, or I can't remember, whatever. I think I got a special bottle of beer, and then that would be my first bit of alcohol. Watch the game. And it was such a different experience, the whole Six Nations, of actually watching it sober and not having to go to the toilet every 10 minutes. So, but watching that, England beat Ireland, England won the Six Nations, I sat there and I was like, you know what? I don't even want that beer. And I didn't drink. I still didn't drink because I managed to, that whole period, it was like I saw that attachment that I had to alcohol through those experiences.
Yeah.
And I was able to change that attachment. It's like, no, I don't actually need the alcohol. I just believed I need the alcohol.
Yeah.
And I read this week. Our beliefs are superstitions at worst. So it's like what we believe we need isn't necessarily actually true.
Yeah.
So do I not drink? No, I drink every now and then, but I definitely don't drink to the amount that I did. And it was really interesting just going through that period. And again, during that same period, it was just like changing what we ate, realizing that this perceived attachment to what we what we want, what we need, or it's not really a need, it's a want.
Yeah, it is.
We need alcohol, we need sugar, we need meat. No, we don't. It's just our beliefs.
Wow.
That period 3 years ago completely changed.
Wow, that's massive. So how much weight did you lose, like in the few times you did lose weight? Like what? Because I'll put some pictures up now. Like where were you at your most heaviest, if you don't mind sharing, like with the viewers?
Oh, so
how tall are you? You're like my height, aren't you? Like 5'8"?
Yeah, 5'8" and a bit. So
5'9" then.
Not quite 5'9", but I never weighed myself sort of when I was at my heaviest because of that self-perception. But I would say, I reckon around 19 stone at my worst. And yeah, now I am, I think 12 and a half.
It's amazing. That is amazing.
Cheers, man. But yeah, and that, I would say when I was at my heaviest was probably 30, 31. And again, it was those behaviors from that self-love, perceived self-love, that you know, the drinking, the alcohol, the comfort food. And then, yeah, you just, when you decide to make a change to, okay, I want to start being healthy, because we've had these moments in life where we can be healthy for short, focused periods. And like I said, one of those was my wedding, that, okay, I'll lose weight for this. Well, why just be healthy for a short period? And the reason for that, I believe people do that, is when people have a goal, it becomes achievable.
Yeah.
So it's like a wedding is a goal. But people have these short-term goals. So they're not sustainable, because once I was married, that was it. It's sort of the old behavior started coming in. And for me, and this was a point I wanted to touch on, was about having a life purpose, like a mission. And I write about this in my book, of who you really want to be. So for me, I said I wanted to be a good husband, a good son, uncle, brother, manager, employee, etc. So to be the best me, what do I need to do? And to be the best me, I was like, okay, right, let's think. When have I felt the best? Okay, when I've been exercising, when I've been eating healthy. So having that change of a short-term focus to a wider, helping people, serving people, being true to myself, that really managed to change things for me. So it was like, okay, I'm not eating healthy for a wedding. I'm eating healthy so I can actually be the best person I can be. So I can be the best husband I can be. I can be the best son. And having that, and yeah, in my book, I talk about the process of doing that. And it's partly taken from a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by a chap called Stephen Covey. I don't know if you've heard of it at all.
Literally, last episode with George Cisneros, talking about being brave and courageous, he said that was one of 2 books that pretty much like changed his life.
Yeah, it's a really, really powerful book. And in there, he gets you to think about your funeral. And this is something that I would encourage every single person to do. So let's say for you, Rory, it's February now. Let's say in 1 month's time, so it's March, it's your funeral, man.
Yep.
You have passed away, because we never know when we're going to go.
Yeah, we've lost someone at our workplace this week, 47.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So really poignant.
Yes, mate.
So you're at your own funeral. You see who's there. You see who's not there. You see or you hear what people say about you. But is that what you want people to say about you? Is that who is there? Is that who you really want to be there? Are there grudges that were held or were held? And having that view, it's like, okay, is what they're saying really who I see myself as? And for me, when I went through that process, I was like, no, I'm taking shortcuts in all these different areas. I'm not being true to myself. And that's the reason I wrote that mission, that I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good son. And this is what I will do because of it. Because I thought, no, my behavior isn't leading that way. And I think all of us have values, and they're there from very young in our childhood.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That get covered by these beliefs we come across in life, and these shadows and these traumas. So it's like we have our values, and then it gets covered by all this dirt and damage. And we forget about what our values are. But when you think about your funeral, when you think about what you really want people to say, that's your values. So it's like, dig away at that dirt, dig away at what is inside of you. And you will start living. And I promise this, you will start living a life that is happier and more fulfilling. And when I did that, when I wrote that down, I said I wanted to be healthier. I never said I wanted to be vegan. and honestly, man, my life changed from that process, because I looked up that plant-based diet and how good it was for you. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it to be healthier. And you can eat 90% whole food plant-based diet, and it is as good for you as eating a 100%. That's the information I got. So for me, that's meant to be the best diet. So I was like, okay, I could do that. I could eat the 90%, the 10% I'll make, I don't know, donuts, pizza, and steak. And I just lost that desire. But having that it's like a roadmap. You know where you want to go.
Yeah.
That is so important. So important. And if I hadn't have done that, well, one, I wouldn't have become vegan. I wouldn't have got in tune with who I really am, that I want to be able to help people, to serve people. I knew that was there. There's always been signs of that throughout my life. But I never really had the courage to step into that, to be authentic, to be me. And that is how I ended up writing a book.
So cool. I love it. Smashed it, bro. And you mentioned some tools earlier for our viewers. Have you shared them all, like, naturally? Oh, right. Well, let's thrash those out. How many you got?
Okay. So, well, one of them's funeral. Yeah. So we sort of covered that. So the first thing, and this was the first bit that created a change in my life, was meditating. And I was sort of tricked into doing this. But I don't know whether I was tricked by other people or myself. So at work, there was this session on mindfulness. And I would say I still have, especially as a creative person, a very busy mind. It's like, I really need to slow that down. So there was this session on mindfulness. I didn't know mindfulness meant meditation. I had no idea that's what it meant. And I just thought, yeah, I'm mindful. I'm aware of people.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to do it. I'm busy. But I went. And we did this group meditation, this mindfulness. All I had to do was like count my breaths in and out up to 10. And the first one was like 14, 15. Oh, hang on. No, I was meant to do 10. And I failed epically at it. I was like, no, meditation isn't for me. But something inside said, stick with it. Just do it. So there was the app I used was Headspace. Other apps are available. But I used Headspace. It was free for 10 days to do this like 10-day intro. I thought, I'm going to give it a go. So at lunchtime, I'd sit in my car, I'd do it, and it completely changed my life thereon.
Wow.
I just felt I became more aware of what was around me, how people's emotions, my emotions. And I'm only talking about 10 minutes a day. That's it. And it really started being able to change my brain and how it worked.
Wow.
Didn't stop me necessarily having a very busy mind.
Yeah.
It made a massive difference in my life. And then part of that is gratitude. So these are sort of the two big foundation blocks of creating change. And this is what I said about creating something where you can start programming that negative thought into a positive. And that is every day, and this is so simple, every day, write down with a pen or pencil and paper, not on your iPad or anything like that on the computer, write down 3 things you are grateful for. That's it. And it doesn't have to be anything amazing. It can just be, oh, a good chat I had with a mate. It could be a song I heard. It could be, oh, that was an amazing cup of coffee. It could be a smile someone gave you. It doesn't have to be winning the lottery, just that. And the more you do that, the more your brain starts going, oh, yeah, this is good. That's positive. That's positive. That's positive. So at first, often people struggle to come up with 3 things, but then you start picking more things out.
Yeah. It makes you more self-aware as well, the gratitude and the mindfulness. It makes you analyze the world and interpret it and explore it curiously more. And you realize, wow, I don't really take things in. I'm just distracted. I'm all over the place, but it really just grounds you in and appreciates even the simplest of things.
Absolutely, man. It's so powerful. So recently I did a blog on how to journal. And so when I journal, I write things I'm grateful for. So I've got a really simple format of journaling, and I've got a more extended format of journaling, but I would really encourage that. So that's on my blog, my website, jamiebeets.com. So check that out, because gratitude forms a part of that. So that's the number 1. Number 2, create your values. Think about what people would say about you now at your funeral.
Yeah.
Who's there? Who's not there? What grudges are you holding on to?
That's good, man.
And what you really want people to say about you. And from that, just write yourself a little mission statement of who you are. Deep down, truly. And all you have to do is look at that. You don't have to go, oh, I'm going to do this and do that. Just look at it. Your behaviors will change.
Wow.
Because you're in tune with that. And I did that like every day for 6 months. And I didn't have to look at it anymore, because I became that person. And then the last one, my last tip is, see where your attachments are. What are you attached to? What are your beliefs? And are they serving you, or are they holding you back? And that's what I said. That's why I wanted to tell you about that story about the 6 nations, because I had this attachment to alcohol and food and beer. What was it true? Was it a fact? No, it was just a belief that I needed this. So become aware of your attachments and know that they can be let go. Don't have to, but they can be. And I'm not going to say I don't have any attachments. I would say my biggest attachment is coffee. but I would say that is a healthier relationship. Hey, but I would say that is a healthier relationship than one of alcohol, because we're never going to be the perfect end product.
Yeah, people need to hear that.
We're always work in progress, always. Yeah. But just become aware of your attachments and identity, who you are trying to be, not who you really are, not your values. Who are you trying to be?
Wow. Wonderful. That's so good, man. What I'll do is ask you to Enlighten the Show's question, because you've just given us a lot to think about in a positive way. And thank you for sharing all of your experiences bravely, and also, you know, your wisdom that you've gained out of all those experiences too. So there's men watching this. They've been signposted, randomly come across it on YouTube, had a conversation with a mate, and they're just feeling like really down. They're feeling depressed, even suicidal. Is there anything you could give, like a small bit of advice for men like that who just kind of don't want to be around anymore?
So first off, seek help, professional help. That is really important. I mean, the first time I was obviously to be diagnosed with depression, I had to have seen a professional. So don't think I can sort this out myself. Get professional support. See what they say. Then if you've had that support before, but you're still like struggling a little bit, I would say, again, this is where that gratitude practice can really help. See what is good in your life. Yeah, we have negative things, but we have bountiful positive things as well. They can be really hard when your brain is wired to see that negatives. So just try that gratitude process.
Brilliant.
Dig into some books. I really recommend the Shadow Work book by Charlie Morley, about looking at your dark shadow and your golden shadow. And I'll just say this really briefly, is what we like in someone is we like that person. So let's say I like you, Rory. You're one of my favorite people in the world. The reason I like you is because I see myself in you. There's these elements of my golden shadow in you.
Right. Now,
for someone that I don't like, the reason I often don't like them is because they have elements of my dark shadow in them. Wow. So by being able to see who you like and who you don't like, you're actually starting to be able to see those behaviors. And the more you can reconcile with both of those, wow, the more understanding you'll have on your life.
Wow, man. That was unbelievable stuff. Good. I feel dead chilled, you know. I feel dead peaceful, and like, despite how buzzing I am for that information you've given our viewers. But yeah, I just feel really good right now. It's good, man. I feel blessed. Well, man. Thank you for coming on and doing episode 46 with us. For those who are watching, below this video, you'll see this like red button. It says subscribe on it. That's important to us because we want to reach more and more and more men across the world, not just here in the UK, where we're passionate about serving, even more so in the city of Nottingham, where we are as a brotherhood, but it extends across the internet for others. So yeah, the more people can reach, the better. And we're close to 500, which is a brilliant, significant amount of people. However, if we can double that, inevitably we can monetize the channel, which will be absolutely fantastic way of bringing in more money to create things like this, our t-shirts that look pretty sick in the gym. And all it will start to do is create conversation. Yeah, we've got posters, we've got all sorts of mechanisms, paid advertisements. These are things that we want to pour money into. And I don't normally ask this, actually. I don't think I've ever asked this, but we've also got a UK bank account. So that's come on the screen right now. That's our sort account number. If you feel that you know, you believe in our mission, to support men with their mental health in this way that we do it, yeah, you can kindly donate, and we just say thank you very much. It's really, really, yeah, we're just grateful for it. And also we've got a website, as Jay mentioned. We've got our own website, and one of our boys, Ashley Coxie, he's done that and smashed it all out. That would cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and he did it out of the goodness of his heart, and we're just really, really blessed by that. So check it out, guys. It's pretty decent. I think it's very good. And this is a guy who like learned it from nowhere. Literally what Jamie said, the things that he said, he just started from scratch and gone on a journey, and Coxie's done that. So I want to publicly honor him for that. And I think I missed something. Yeah, social media. So coming up on the screen is our handle at Enlighten the SH1. And Jamie's stuff has been coming out this whole episode, so check his stuff out. Buy his book, please. Very good read. We've got lots of tasty stuff. It's about £22. And some of you go, I can't afford it. Like, you probably can afford it, guys. I'm going to say this in love. You can afford it. You're just spending your money slightly differently on other things that may mean more to you. So I want to challenge you in love. Maybe next month when you do get paid, just check your money. It's like what we were saying about our food and our choices. What about your money? Is that £20-ish being invested in something else that you probably could say no to? And this could potentially, I'm not saying it is, not saying the sunshine comes out of his bumhole, but this might change your life. And this is why we do the things we do and get this great man on. So yeah, check it out, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Jamie, amazing. Thank you, brother.
You're most welcome, man. And I really appreciate you bringing me on and being able to share my story.
Yeah, man.
Like I said earlier, the work you do, keep on, man. I mean, you've clearly found your purpose.
Yeah.
So keep on keeping on.
Thank you, mate. Nice one. Cheers, guys.